Welcome back to Nerdscape Odyssey. I'm Tyler, the gaming dad, and I'm joined today by my co-host and wife, Ashley, the nerd mom, Peyton, my daughter. She's 6 years old. She loves Minecraft. And Georgia, my other daughter, who's 3 years old, and she also loves Minecraft. These two are the Minecraft experts. You want to introduce yourselves, girls?
Hey guys.
So we're about to put them to bed, and then we're going to be reviewing The Rings of Power Season 1. These two have watched The Hobbit, and they sat through the entire thing.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I will definitely say that, because these two, their attention does not hold very well.
The only 3-year-old in the world probably to sit through a 2.5-hour movie. Same with the 6-year-old. Over 2 hours.
A couple of maybe the youngest Lord of the Ring fans.
Right?
Who's my sister?
Okay.
All right, you want to say night? Say night.
Say night-night. She's a shy one.
All right, so now that the kids are in bed, let's get on to the topic at hand today, which I am extremely excited for, Rings of Power. Let's be honest, we all thought that we had the Rings of Power figured out, right? The pacing was, special. 1 minute it was slower than a Hobbit's second breakfast, and the next, characters were teleporting across continents like they'd somehow found a Star Trek transporter.
Yeah.
The characters made choices that had us yelling at our screens. The lore felt, a little fan-fiction-y at times. It was a beautiful $1 trillion mess that launched 1,000 YouTube rants.
Oh, yeah.
But
everyone was debating this one.
Yeah, I saw lots. I was so excited to do this today. This, just talking about it. What if I told you, though, that it wasn't actually a bug and it was actually a feature? Did you figure that out? That wasn't a bug, it was a feature?
Yeah, it seemed that way.
What if it was a brilliantly crafted, diabolical deception? We were so wrong about the Rings of Power, and today we're going to show you how the showrunners played us all like a fiddle using Tolkien's own world as the sheet music.
Yeah, exactly. For months, the internet basically became a massive Tolkien-themed cage match. Critics, fans, your cousin who read The Hobbit that one time, everyone was dissecting every frame of this show, pointing out plot holes you could ride a Moomical through. All anyone could talk about was what the show screwed up. Galadriel felt too angry. The timeline was just a little squished, and the central mystery, who the heck is Sauron, felt like a cheap gimmick. We were basically judging the show against the sacred text of the appendices of the Silmarillion, and we found it lacking, and that, my friends, was our first mistake. We were so busy watching the show, we didn't see the magic trick happening right under our noses. The showrunners wanted us to look at our left hand, and so that we completely missed what they were doing with their right hand.
So, how do you pull off a magic trick this big? First, you gotta earn your audience's trust. You build a world that feels so real, so authentic, that when you start to bend the rules, people just think you've made a typo, not that you're rewriting the entire book.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the showrunners did. The first few episodes were all about proving that they did their homework, which is the most important part, by the way.
Oh, exactly. You definitely want to know what the subject you're making a show on. And they were constantly telling us how they were working hand in hand with the Tolkien estate, promising a show that was both faithful and dramatic. This wasn't just corporate PR, it was the first layer of their trap. By telling us to be scholars, they invited us to be fact checkers. They trotted out characters we knew and loved: Elrond, Galadriel, Gil-galad, Durin, to create this baseline of, see, we know what we're doing. We saw a world that looked and felt like Middle-earth, so we put our little expert hats on and engaged with it on those terms.
That's right. And boy, did it work. It kicked off a civil war in the fandom. You had academics and diehard fans duking it out over whether the show captured Tolkien's spirit,
Yeah,
or if it
something
was
special.
or if it was an expensive fan fiction. We were all arguing about the color of the drapes, not realizing the entire house was built to lead us into a trap. Were you arguing about the color of the drapes? Because I know I was a little unsure.
Right.
But they gave us so much faithful stuff to chew on. The whole reason for the rings, the fading of the elves, that's straight from the lore. The show just cranked the dial up to 11 and turned it into an extinction level event. The weird new mythology around Mithril being tied to a Silmaril, that felt like a deep cut. A little wink to the super nerds.
Right.
I think you're the super nerd. I'm a nerd, but you were a super nerd with this.
Yeah, I've read a lot of books.
They even had lines like Gilgalad's "Hope is never mere, even when it is meager." That sounded like they were ripped right from the lost page of Tolkien's notes.
Oh yeah, you could swear to God that was Tolkien's quote there. They even nailed the big themes. The show opens with Galadriel saying, "Nothing is evil in the beginning," and this is pure Tolkien philosophy, by the way. Elrond's whole struggle, it is hard to see what is right when friendship and duty are mingled. That's the kind of moral pickle that Tolkien absolutely loved to use. Mm-hmm. All of this was bait. It was a foundation of faithfulness built not just to tell a story, but to control how we, the audience, saw that story. They gave us a map we recognized, so we never realized that they were leading us right off a cliff.
Nope, that's for sure. And it was definitely a cliff.
Yeah.
So once they had us all distracted, polishing our spectacles to check their work, the real show began. The whole season was basically a giant shell game, find the Sauron. And they give us 3 shiny, irresistible decoys to keep us from looking at the emo sad boy king over on the raft. I'm not doing well. I'm not doing well for your cough, am I?
That was a good one.
First up, we had, and again, they had me with this one, Adar. I mean, come on, this guy had "I'm the villain" written all over his, face, his features, everything.
Had it tattooed on his forehead.
Which, looking back in hindsight, it's too obvious. It was way too obvious. I fell for it. That's just me, though. But he was a fallen elf, the first ever Uruk, and a father to the orcs. He was basically the orc daddy. They gave him this tragic backstory, a magnetic performance, and some seriously menacing poetry. We were so busy arguing if this complicated bad guy could really be Sauron that we didn't even notice the handsome fella quietly making his way to Numenor.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Adar seemed really pissed off when he was called Sauron. It was quite the head scratch.
Yeah, I think that was when I first started thinking, wait a second.
Yeah, when the guy's on his knees, he's like, "Wait, you're Sauron, right?" And he looked pissed.
He wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, wait, isn't he Sauron?
Speaking of being played, if you're enjoying this breakdown of narrative chicanery, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button for Nerdscape Odyssey. We love getting tricked by good stories here. Now, where were we? Yes, the next glorious distraction. If it wasn't Adar, it was the stranger. He falls out of the sky in a meteor, by the way. He's got scary, uncontrollable magic, and he can't even remember his own name or who he is.
By the way, I actually fell for this one too. I'm pretty sure I fell for all of the distractions.
Yeah, at first this one had me thinking he was Gandalf, and then after a while I started believing he's Sauron, and then went back to Gandalf, and yeah,
you're not one to trick,
it's a pendulum swing.
He's hard to trick. He usually knows all this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, I can usually call this stuff out way before it happens. But the dude was a walking red flag. The creepy mystics chasing him even called him Lord Sauron. So it was the most obvious answer, which in a mystery box show kind of makes it the most likely twist, right?
But then the counter evidence started really stacking up, and this is again where I started scratching my head once more. His friendship with the Harfoots, especially Nori, felt way too wholesome for the Dark Lord.
Yeah.
As one of the showrunners pointed out, Gandalf loves halflings. Saruman thinks they're a joke. Then came the mic drop moment from Nori's mom, quoting Tolkien almost word for word. Not all those who wander or wonder are lost.
Yeah.
The entire internet was a battlefield. Team Gandalf versus Team Sauron. It was a glorious, nerdy dumpster fire that provided the perfect smokescreen for Halbrand to just waltz right into I think it's Eragon? Eragon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mind my pronunciation, some of them aren't the greatest.
Some of them I haven't actually heard out loud. I've just read them in the books. But, yeah, that one kind of had me pondering as well. Because, although, yes, Sauron thinks that halflings are a joke, this could have been the story as to why he thought they were a joke.
Could have been. They could have twisted it so many ways.
But the final distraction, oh, it was a nice shiny one. Literally, Mithril, the whole Khazad-dûm plot line. With the discovery of this new wonder metal, it was just fantastic. The drama between Prince Durin and his dad about digging greedily and deep, there was this huge winking elbow nudge to the audience about the Balrog. We were all so invested in the bromance between Durin and Elrond that it became our favorite part of the show, and it was the ultimate shiny object to keep us from noticing the other guy who was just cozying up to the elves and giving them some, let's call it, jewelry making advice. So when you lay all the cards on the table, what do you see? A show that wasn't failing at adapting Tolkien. It was succeeding at something even crazier. The weird pacing and the questionable decisions, the bending of the lore, it was all designed to do one thing. Make us, the audience, just as gullible as the elves of the Second Age were. I mean, he had to trick the elves somehow. He have to trick the audience to make them believe that he tricked the elves.
See, in the books, Sauron wasn't a monster yet. He was Anatar, the Lord of Gifts, a guy so charming and wise he could sell ice to an elf in the frozen north.
Yeah.
The show couldn't just tell us that, though. They had to make us feel it. They preyed on our assumption that evil has to look evil, like a scarred orc or a crazy wizard. Again, both got me. By making Sauron a handsome, tortured soul, they weaponized our own expectations against us. So, when we see Galadriel practically shoving Halbrand towards his destiny, that's not bad writing. That's just the whole point. She, like us, could not fathom that the sensitive sad boy in front of her was the ultimate evil because he had a good sob story and, of course, to all the ladies out there and some men, he had really great hair.
Not what I was noticing, but okay. The flaws here were basically the features. The journey wasn't just about the time between 2 points on a map here. It was the psychological con being pulled on the characters and on us. We were so wrong about this show because we watched it like historians, when we should have been watching it like marks in a long con. They weren't just adapting the appendices, they were adapting the very theme of deception. We thought we were watching a documentary, but we were actually the test subjects, a test to see if we, with all of our lore, books, and wikis, would fall for the same lies that the elves did. And you know what? We did. They played us, and honestly, I'm not even mad about it. That's just amazing. They showed us how he was able to trick the elves, and we can't even argue because they tricked us too.
I mean, Tyler here's a genre specialist. This guy could predict almost any show that I watch. Trust me, it is annoying as all hell. Yet this show actually caused his jaw to drop just as much as mine did. It was quite sweet. It was the best thing ever.
Yeah, usually I'm predicting everything and you're throwing stuff at me.
Every show that I watch, and he's sitting there, he already knows. Little off topic, but I don't know if anyone watches The Social Circle. That show that we kind of got hooked on. And, obviously social themed kind of, winner. He would predict the winner before the show even started. So I'm quite happy that this show tricked him because
it's very rare that I'm actually tricked. Very rare.
Long time coming. So the real question is, now that we're in on the trick, can they fool us again in season 2? So let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe again for more deep dives. We hope to see you next time on Nerdscape. You better believe that we are going to be coming with you for season 2.